everyone, and a happy St. Patrick's Day to you and yours from all of us. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to CBS Sports' continuing coverage of the 2002 NCAA Basketball Championship Tournament. Today, we'll finish cutting the field of 65 schools down to the Sweet 16, and no one knows more about sweets than Clark Kellogg. A couple of low seeds advanced today, or yesterday. It was Missouri, and it was Kent State. And does anybody have a chance to do that today?
Well, I think all of the higher seeds will prevail, with the exception of possibly UCLA. And I say that even though they've been enigmatic all season long, this team will defend and rebound with Cincinnati. And if they handle the defensive pressure, they're an excellent shooting team. And I think that could be the difference. That's the only place that I think a lower seed has a chance possibly to move on.
All right, Clark, coming up, we have 7 hours of second-round tournament action. And it all begins in Pittsburgh, where UCLA challenges Cincinnati, the top seed in the West. The Bruins' Billy Knight got his shooting groove back against Ole Miss Friday night. He buried 3 straight threes to open the second half, finished with a game-high 21. Cincinnati features first-team All-America Steve Logan, who contributed 27 to the Bearcats' first-round win over Boston University. 4 games will tip between 2:15 and 2:30. Texas takes on Mississippi State. Creighton, one of the magical 12 seeds this year, faces Illinois. North Carolina State draws UConn, the 2 seed in the East, and Cal visits Pitt in the Panthers' hometown. Then at roughly 4:45 Eastern Time, 3 more games get underway. Xavier has a date with Oklahoma, the 2nd seed in the West. Southern Illinois, which sent Bob Knight and Texas Tech packing, squares off against Georgia, the 3rd seed in the East, and Wisconsin will play Maryland, the top seed in the East. Let's talk 8 teams advancing to the Sweet 16 yesterday, including a pair of top seeds.
Despite spraining his left ankle a couple of days ago, Heinrich cheering on his team, and with good reason. After that 3 by Boshi, they're up 15-0.
And then Boshi hitting a 3 to cap a Jayhawk 15-0 run. Then Heinrich off the bench, knocking down the 3. Jayhawks lead by 17. And then Heinrich, this time dispensing Drew Gooden for the jump shot. There's Coach K and Mike Bray, his former assistant, Mike Dunleavy's 3 early on.
Then Notre Dame fights back to take a 4-point lead on this David Graves 3. But in the end, it was too much Duke. Boozer gives them a 2-point lead, part of a 9-0 run, and they advance.
Indiana against UNC Wilmington in Sacramento. And Wilmington, Brett Blizzard, the 3-pointer, top of the key, seconds left in the first half.
After this 3, Indiana was up 17, but the Seahawks made a valiant run until Jared Jeffries took over down the stretch.
In Sacramento, Wake Forest against Oregon, and Wake's Craig Dawson around the high screen with a 3-pointer. Deacons lead by 6.
The Ducks will go up by 4 after that Frederick Jones layup.
And then Luke Ridenour finishes off Wake, his 7th 3 of the game. 2-point lead for the Ducks. They go on to win it. And we will continue along the road to the Final Four here on CBS after this word from your local station. Coming your way next, an NCAA tournament tripleheader, and it all begins in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with a West bracket matchup between number 8 UCLA and top seed Cincinnati. The winner advances to play Missouri in the Sweet 16. Clark and I will see you back here at the half. Enjoy the games, everyone. The madness continues here on CBS.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Mazda MPV, Monroe, American Express, and by Aquafina.
This winding road to the Final Four makes its first stop of the afternoon at the Confluence in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Mellon Arena, 2nd round game in the West, featuring the UCLA Bruins with a 20-11 record, seeded number 8, against the top-seeded Cincinnati Bearcats, now 31-3 for the year. Cincinnati destroyed Boston U in the first-round game. UCLA won big over Ole Miss. The winner of this one advances to San Jose to take on the 12-seeded Missouri Tigers. Head coach of the UCLA Bruins in his 6th season, Steve Lavin. His team has won 20 or more in each of his 6. They have never lost a second-round game. And the Bruin lineup for today's game: Matt Barnes, Dan Gadzurek, and Jason Capono up front. In the backcourt, Billy Knight, who led them to the first-round victory, and the freshman Cedric Bozeman at the point. Bob Huggins in his 13th season as the head coach at Cincinnati. The other night won his 500th career game, including 3 stops. His lineup today with a 31-3 record Up front, he'll start Jamal Davis and Donald Little. And in the backcourt, Emmanuel McElroy, the defensive specialist, Leonard Stokes, and the first-team All-American, Steve Logan. Officiating crew, Mike Kitts, Vern Harris, and Kerry Sitton. Only the third time ever Cincinnati has played UCLA. First time in 36 years. Got to go back to 1965.
Ed Vern Lundquist, the Bruins of UCLA. Go match up so.
I just hate you to say that.
Well, they've some man-to-man principles.
Of course, they all do, right?
And they want to get it inside.
And the first whistle of the day. I know how desperately you were hoping that Cincinnati would get the tip.
Steve Levin's killing me. Very important to get some inside points for Cincinnati. I don't think he can settle outside the jumper. It may destroy you.
Jason Capono picks up the first foul. Here's the quick jumper off the glass. Jamal Davis, first basket of the day.
A little kiss early on St. Patty's Day.
Cedric Bozeman. Here's Billy Knight, 21 points in the first round victory. Working around the perimeter. Alley-oop, Gadzurik, and there's the answer.
Nice job. Good acknowledgement. Barnes with a nice stump down. Gadzurik with great footwork.
Gadzurik fresh from a 9.6 rebound game. And at 6'11", the tallest player on the court with Donald Little. They match up equally.
They're going to tag outside on Logan. Can't give him the open looks. A nice movement by him to get free here.
Here's Logan, kicks it in the corner. And Stokes will take the three-pointer off the iron. McElroy with a rebound. Spin move, adjustment in the lane, and a nice shot.
Emmanuel with some great strength around the rim.
McElroy is fresh from his first career double-double the other night. 11 points, 10 rebounds. Here's the long rebound, and Logan has it for Cincinnati.
And Barnes with the open looks really become a terrific deep shooter.
Pass a little too strong. It was tipped out of bounds by Cincinnati, and UCLA will have it.
Now, the dilemma against this UCLA zone, the matchup, is the length of the bodies, and Huggins is very concerned about that. They take away vision.
Billy Knight, who is a three-point specialist and hammered it home against Ole Miss, gets the first of the day here.
He's made Billy Knight, unbelievable deep shooter, can turn night into day with his deliveries.
McElroy, the lane left open. And a foul called.
The amazing ability of Billy Knight to widen the floor. It's very tough to get out. He has great court awareness. We mentioned it the other night. And Bozeman, who's going to be a good one. The delivery, you can just see how deep the defense has to come from the lane. You can't cover him wide enough or quick enough.
And at the free throw line, here's McElroy for Cincinnati. One more.
Now, McElroy known for his defense. In fact, both of us had a chance to talk with Steve Logan and said, who's the best defender you've ever faced? He said, Emmanuel. He said, he knows my moves. He can lock people up. You ask anybody in that Conference USA.
Cans them both, and Cincinnati on top by one, 6-5 in the early going. Here's Bozeman.
Well, they like to establish inside if they can, just to get Big Dan involved. And send it in. Big fella. Via Holland.
Matt Barnes finds Gadzurik for his second basket. And UCLA back on top by one.
Everybody identifies a person in their area, and then they start pointing as the cutters go through. You see Capona pointing to one way, and they give the open look to Davis, and wow, a little nylon by the big fella. They need other scorers than Logan. You know he's going to get his.
He can can it from out there. He just doesn't take many of those shots.
He's one of those guys, whatever you need, he'll deliver.
Looking inside again, there are the quick hands of Davis. And a turnover. Here comes Steve Logan.
He's their Matt Barnes. Good hands on that play. Does the little things.
Logan in the corner. Stokes for three.
Mean-looking stroke. If he's on his game, what a compliment in the backcourt. Shoots around 42%. Streaky shooter.
Capono. Good defense by McElroy, and the basket is good in the lane.
How about the scouting there, right? Their catch and shoot is Capona's ID, and that time a nice step and go by him after giving it up.
That one out of bounds. And the second Cincinnati turnover. Well, this is becoming a familiar suit for Bob Huggins.
I'm tired of it myself. I mean, how many guys have a lapel on a vest? I mean, strike up the band.
That one off the front rim for Barnes. Gadzuric misses short range. It's saved by McElroy for Cincinnati. And here is Steve Logan.
And look at the size out front to meet him.
Stokes from the corner.
Got another. And you got to hand it to Logan. He's played well within himself. Nice delivery.
Steve Logan with 2 assists already. He's got 451 for his career now. The first team All-American from Cleveland, Ohio.
The opponent's really going to have to keep active with McElroy on him. Offense. They got steps first.
Steps.
When you're a shooter, as Steve Logan is, you can hurt your club if you make bad decisions. But you see the size of Bozeman, now the penetration and the delivery in the corner, all the defense around the little guy. And a nice little dish to the corner.
Andre Patterson makes his first appearance of the game for Matt Barnes for UCLA. And here comes Steve Logan, guarded by Bozeman.
Yeah, Steve Lavin knows right now. Let's see if he's matched or in the man.
Bozeman stays on Logan. Here comes the trap. Little kicks it right side. McElroy on the floor. Jumper, fall away. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, anytime you force a guy like that deep.
Jamal Davis gets the offensive board. And the jumper off the glass.
Wow. How about that little kiss? But why not give it to Little? Get him in the game.
An 11-2 Bearcat run. 17-9. Billy Knight. Look inside for Gadzuric. He's being fronted by Donald Little. Bozeman, Knight, catch and release. Not there. Good position by Little for the rebound.
Well, you got to compete when you play Cincinnati. Of course, on offense, they get the inside scoring like this. A little kiss to get him to the timeout.
I'm Leslie Visser back at Mellon Arena. Well, you might remember that last year, Steve Logan left the tournament for one day to go home to Cleveland to visit his ailing grandmother, who'd been the guiding force in his life. Well, Shirley Logan died last April, but he has her image tattooed above his hip. He says she is the reason for his success. Vern, I think that that tie and jacket was a function of his grandmother.
I think you're absolutely right, of course. And a single-parent family. His sister, Lakeisha Adamson, also a college graduate, Bowling Green, an inspiration in his life, and his mother, Melody Adamson.
And they needed that jump shot. Role model, his sister, he said. That's,
yeah,
Lakeisha. Make sure you get through high school, then make sure you get through college.
Now here is Steve Logan, number 22. B.J. Grove is back on the floor. Left the team voluntarily last fall. Rejoined the team in December. Has played sporadically, but had good minutes the other night. And goes up for the layup here and gets hammered, as a matter of fact, with no call.
A nice run out by Gadzuric. He does a great job going wire to wire, rim to rim, a la Bill Russell in the old San Francisco days. I know you weren't around in those days, Vern.
Well, I have vague memories. 24-15, significant out of the break now for UCLA.
Thompson there with a little nickel dimer as McElroy tries to put it on the floor, but the ability to get right down the center, you got to run their big guys. You mentioned Grove carrying a few extra ones, but here great control by Dan. If he could ever develop a little hook or a little turnaround jumper, and B.J. Grove now being chastised as he goes, how Bob Huggins can't believe he wasn't able to run the floor. Take a look at the hips.
That's a definition of a short time on the floor. And here's the Phil Williams, who's hitting 70% in NCAA play. DJ Cummings will take it strong.
The youthful exuberance. They've inserted a couple with some old timers. Great run out, and that's what they needed, some easy baskets. But Vern, you got to compete on the glass. They have not thus far.
6 unanswered out of the break now for UCLA. Here's Logan, guarded by Walcott.
Carry or 5? Good penitent, good aggressive defense on the dribbler. But the leak out is so important when you play a tenacious defensive team. And you can notice the white shirt's not getting back. Not bad, huh? Ooh, like his daddy, huh? Cummings to the 10, send it in.
Well, there's some lineage on this UCLA team. Of course, his dad was Terry Cummings. Marcus Johnson's son, also a part of the team. Here's Gadzuric, he's got 8. There's the rebound, Rico Hines.
Dan, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking Dan Gadzuric really struggling with the shot.
Yes.
I mean,
And looks like he's injured his either his elbow or his wrist or his hand, maybe.
It's his left. He shot it with his right.
10 to go, first half of play. Top-seeded Cincinnati, 8th-seeded UCLA. Here's Logan and Walcott. Logan takes the jumper off the mark. Zurich with a rebound.
Good job. He really does compete, Vern. Get yourself real low and duck in. Here he is, strong.
Nice pass.
Baby, I'll tell you what, he doesn't stop playing. He may miss a couple that people would consider easy, but the effort and involvement, keeps the coach, Steve Lavin, happy.
Bruins have cut this margin to 5 out of the break. Here's McElroy with the adjustment. No. Jamal Davis back to Field Williams. And they'll go back to the half-court set. Here's Davis in the corner. McElroy left wide open.
Look at this.
Little.
They got to get a little body on Donald, huh? Just carve an area. Stick them. Put the derriere into the legs.
26-19, nearing 9 to go, first half of play. Now Cummings, they'll leave him open for that shot. He'll take it and can it.
Boy, they got some promising young people, don't they? And look at this club. They can put you out in a lot of ways.
Sophomores and freshmen. Cummings 3 of 3 now for 7 points. That one's off the glass. Davis gets it and puts it back.
Can't give him 2 for 1. I mean, that's just not what it's all about. And Steve looking at his bench saying, guys, come on. We've been talking about checking out and competing against them. You got to match the energy.
Andre Patterson's going to come back on now for TJ Cummings, who looks a little winded, quite frankly. That's Rico Hines. And Zurich is holding his elbow as he takes a seat on the bench.
Well, you know, being Irish, that would be a terrible thing for me on St. Patrick's Day.
To have to hold your elbow?
Yeah, it would be. Hopefully he'll be ready to go because he has done a great job around the rim.
I can imagine a lot of scenes, but you holding your elbow is not one that comes immediately to mind.
Now
here's Barnes and a foul.
You mentioned Max Seal,
right,
and he fronted and got the foul. But the difficulty for him, according to Bob Huggins, is he doesn't have the lift since he hurt the knee. And if you noticed the other day, his shooting wasn't the same as it was early in the year. Not the proper trajectory.
Barnes walked.
Here they go with the pressure now. And this helps Logan, I think.
Now, Bob Huggins said he didn't mind if UCLA comes to the full court. Logan can work his way through that with relative ease.
Well, this is again UCLA check out on the shot.
Oh, what a nice little fake. And that's going to be basket interference. Yep.
Did Huggins say he didn't have the legs? Oh, my goodness. The problem also is the penetration. The defense steps up now. You can't check people out.
Now, what do you think here?
I thought it was off, but I'm so impressed with the ability to elevate. As good as Kenyon Martin at the same age or better, Huggins thinks.
Right. Young man from Carrollton, Texas, a suburb of Dallas. Here's Bozeman back on the floor. Had a difficult first year. Out 8 games with knee surgery. Knight. And a foul will be called either McElroy or Davis. See who gets this one. And Rico Hines, the 5th-year senior, heading for the locker room. Rico, an inspirational leader for this UCLA team. Time call. 2:39 to go in the half. Second chance points thus far, Bill.
Well, solid play, and most of it getting anything loose. Any errant shots, and I think that's one area they'll be discussing at halftime, UCLA. But now the press is energized. They got Zurich sort of setting the tone, so now people have to feed off of that in the blue shirts.
And Bob Huggins has put Steve Logan back on the floor.
Now, I would on the other end try and dribble drive him. Just get him number 3 if you can. He's an important cog. They got a clear for him. Nice back cut. They run that beautifully.
And the follow. That's 16 offensive rebounds in the first half.
Now, the average guy will say, why didn't they check out? But it's really the bad defense on the perimeter. The big guy has to help out, opens up the little attack of the 10.
Let's see what they've got with Logan in mind here. They keep the ball on the left side. Matt Barnes. Rebound Stokes. Field Williams running out, traveling. Yep, took steps.
Tell you, that was a pretty Pete Carrill at Princeton in his heyday. A little back cut, the understanding of when to go and when
to finish. Bearcats by 11, and they've established this lead on the offensive glass.
And Vern, it's amazing. It's really the back cuts, the dribble drive. The cleanup is easy because the big guys have to address. They're almost like on a lazy Susan. They're turning and spinning. They can't check out, can't be in position because of a wonderful use of the floor. Great deployment, the little back cut, and now Cincinnati goes zone as we take a look at the offensive rebounds. Wow, that'll get you out of a game.
And from the outside, in and out, Gadzuric can't get it there as an offensive board. And Walcott, again the miss. Loose ball, there's another offensive rebound. And Gadzuric has been the most potent threat that UCLA has been able to pose. And among those we've not seen for UCLA, Jason Capono has been sitting for, what, 10 minutes?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, he really didn't get any looks. Of course, they guarded him well, and the ball movement didn't mesh with his cuts. And here's a little small change by Barnes.
Coming up on Singular at the half, Greg Gumbel, Clark Kellogg will get you updated on all the tournament news. Plus, they will take a look at UConn's Karon Butler, who thought playing in the NCAA tournament was the last place he'd end up being. That's coming up on Singular at the half. Jason Capono, Jr., leading scorer, held in check today. I don't think he's got a shot yet.
No, I would put him back in right now, though, Vern. You know why? The zone. He's going to get some open looks. Give him a chance. Maybe while they're in this zone, they're trying to protect Logan with the fouls.
And I misspoke. Got one. In the corner. Billy Knight. Oh, come on, Billy. If he tells us he planned that.
Oh, my goodness. And a lefty to boot. That's the wrong corner for him to get a little kiss opportunity.
He's got to be great at liar's poker.
There is a guy.
Oh, my goodness. Well, Steve Lavin was saying he hides in the corner, and he brought up a name from way, way back. Shackelford.
Yep. Great shooter. And here's one after. And
let's take a look at this, Bill.
What do you think, Vern? I mean, I think he had this in mind all the way.
Do you now?
Well, there are kisses that will bring a smile to somebody's face. Look at this thing. A little carom. How about that? That is, well, maybe they need a little boost, a little break. And he acts like it was for real.
Yeah, we'll believe it. Take his word for it. At the line, Stokes.
He practices those threes and deep shots.
Yes. Stokes gets 17 first half points.
And Vern, I was saying when he's in the right corner, I mentioned to Steve yesterday in our meeting, Steve Lavin, that when he's in the right corner, he actually has 3 more feet to play with because he's a lefty. So he gets a great look with the left hand.
Deron Barker back on the floor. Got it. 46 seconds to go, first half. Cincinnati, UCLA. The third time these two teams have ever met. Mentioned the first was in December of '65. Previous to that, they played in the Final Four semifinals in 1962. Cincinnati en route to the NCAA championship. Here's Knight again. No.
Nice save by Barnes. They're going to go the other way with him over the top of Davis. But ending up with very difficult catches. You notice Gadzuric, he was on the box. He ends up out 4 feet trying to help. And then, of course, on the long jumper, Barnes with a small change over the top.
And Jamal Davis is going to go to the line. Matt Barnes had a stretch there. One of the big wins this season over Kansas. He had a stretch. That really the most significant UCLA victory of the year, I think. But they didn't finish strong, Bill.
No. But you're right, that Kansas game, that was amazing. It was larger than the score would indicate, I believe 10. But he's worked on his shooting, and he's a terrific offensive rebounder. That time got detected.
UCLA finishing 9-9 the last 18 games. That includes their first round win here. Jamal Davis gets 2 free throws, and Rodney Crawford comes on the floor now for the final 25 seconds. Bearcats, of course, in the NCAA tournament for the 11th consecutive year, and the best record they've ever posted, 31-3 now.
And nobody thought of them early in the year. Do you want the last shot of your UCLA, and one that's tippable? They could use a boost going in.
Well, the biggest shot of the victory for UCLA against Ole Miss was Billy Knight's 3 at the buzzer, but then they were up by 7 when he hit it. Now they're down by 10. They need it. There's Knight. Didn't happen this time.
They just doubled the high pick and roll. I mean, that's something. If you run that pick and roll, they're going to double you and get a rotation, force you into a difficult release.
The rebounding edge is 10 at the break. Cincinnati has out-rebounded UCLA 25-15. Let's check in with Leslie Bisley.
Vern, for those who were wondering who would score besides Steve Logan, Leonard Stokes has a career-high 4 3-pointers. Are you happy with the supporting cast and the rebounding?
Well, you know, Field Williams certainly makes shots, and he didn't make any shots, and Lowe hasn't made any shots. So if those two guys can start making some shots for us, we'll be fine.
Thanks, Coach. We'll look for that. Just an update on UCLA's Rico Hines. He has a strain of his left knee, behind his left knee. He is done for the day. He'll get an MRI when he goes home to Los Angeles. Right now, he's in the locker room being iced. Vern.
All right, Leslie, thank you. End of the first half, 47-37. Our exclusive coverage of the NCAA Championship will continue after these messages.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, the wireless company that supports self-expression nationwide.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our New York studios and to Singular at the Half. Greg Gumbel, along with Clark Kellogg. Our score at halftime, the Bearcats lead it by 10. And it's interesting to note that the Bearcat backcourt is outscoring UCLA's backcourt by 19.
And that with Steve Logan only having 2 points. Leonard Stokes has stepped in nicely with 18. Capone's been on the bench with 2 fouls. But the story of this first half, Greg, is UCLA being pummeled. I mean pummeled on the backboard. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought UCLA would be able to rebound with Cincinnati, but Cincinnati has been able to retrieve more than half of their missed shots. An example right here is McElroy able to get a second shot down. Logan misses, but little on the follow. And then Max Seal from the foul line. Nobody gets a body on him. And really, UCLA fortunate to only be down 10. Capono has to step it up in the second half, and they've got to do a better job on the glass.
Coach Levin may be addressing that even as we speak. Still 7 games coming your way. 4 of them will tip between 2:15 and 2:30. Texas taking on Mississippi State. Creighton faces Illinois. North Carolina State draws Connecticut. And Cal plays Pittsburgh. Basketball, first and foremost, is a game, but for UConn's Karon Butler, it was more than a way to simply pass the time. It was the means by which he turned his life around.
How do you know? How do you know when you're just a kid which path you'll take? When there's a right one and one that's just easier. Sometimes you don't. Karon Butler is the Co-Big East Player of the Year, arguably one of the finest players in the country. But this wasn't the first path he chose.
It's like when you're younger, you try to be part of a certain group. And the certain group I was trying to be a part of, it involved doing a lot of criminal things, getting in trouble.
The past. It can haunt you, or it can change you. Growing up in Racine, Wisconsin with a single mom, Butler got lost early on and was arrested for possession of cocaine and a handgun. He was incarcerated at age 15.